Welcome to this in depth analysis of the Italian state budget and European governance. This topic is crucial to understanding the financial and political framework in which our country operates. Public finance management and the European regulatory framework are closely intertwined. The interaction between national budget decisions and European directives significantly shapes the economy. This connection directly influences stability and growth, shaping Italy's economic path. We will examine these complex mechanisms together. Let's begin by defining the state budget, a vital accounting document. This instrument forecasts and authorizes the state's revenues and expenditures for a given period. Generally, the reference period is a calendar year. The budget is not just a list of figures, but a snapshot of a government's priorities and political choices. It reflects the economic and social policies intended to be implemented during the fiscal year. It is the basis for all future public action. The budget structure is complex and multifaceted, reflecting the breadth of government functions. It is divided into several main sections, such as those dedicated to revenue and expenditure. Expenditure is further classified into current and capital expenditure. Within these sections, we find specific items detailing revenue forecasts and spending authorizations. These items concern areas such as healthcare, education, defense, infrastructure, and social assistance. Each sector receives a predefined quota for its activities. The budget approval process, known as the budget session, is crucial and takes Parliament months to complete. It is a complex legislative process involving numerous institutional actors. Its conclusion is crucial to the functioning of the state. The government presents a budget bill, the result of extensive internal development. This document is then submitted to the chambers for examination, which debate it in depth. Parliament exercises its oversight function here. During parliamentary debate, deputies and senators can propose changes through amendments. These amendments can significantly alter the initial revenue and expenditure estimates. The debate is often heated and reflects differing political views. The constitutional principles governing the budget are established in Article 81 of the Italian Constitution. This article lays the foundation for its formation and management, ensuring balance and accountability. It is a cornerstone of our economic democracy. A fundamental principle introduced with the 2012 constitutional reform is that of a balanced budget. This principle requires the state to plan its expenditures so that they are covered by revenue. It is a guarantee of sound financial management. However, the principle allows for exceptions, provided they are specified by law and authorized by an absolute majority of parliamentary votes. This allows for flexibility in extraordinary situations or for strategic investments. It is not a rigid and unchangeable rule. Another key principle is that of covering expenses with revenue, which is essential for sustainability. Every new expenditure must be adequately funded. Expenditure cannot be introduced without specifying where the funds will come from. The budget, therefore, is not just a list of numbers, it is a political, legal, and economic document that embodies the sovereignty of the state. It is the result of a delicate balance between political objectives, available resources, and regulatory constraints. Let's now move on to an equally crucial topic: public debt. This represents the total amount of debt the state has incurred over time. These debts are owed to domestic and foreign creditors. Public debt accumulates when spending consistently exceeds revenue, generating deficits. To cover these deficits, the government issues debt securities, such as treasury bonds, which are purchased by investors. It's a financing mechanism. Debt sustainability is a central issue and a constant challenge for many countries. Excessive debt can seriously compromise a country's financial stability. It can lead to a negative spiral of mistrust and rising costs. When debt becomes unsustainable, financial markets lose confidence in the government's ability to repay it. This can trigger economic crises, difficulties in obtaining financing, and rising interest rates. The consequences are severe. The Spreadmont is a key indicator of the perception of risk on Italian public debt. It measures the difference between the yields on Italian government bonds, BTPs, and German bonds considered the safety benchmark. It is a thermometer of confidence. The importance of the spread lies in its ability to signal market confidence in Italian debt. A low spread indicates stability and confidence, while a high spread suggests uncertainty and concern. It's an immediate economic signal. A widening spread signals an increase in investors' perceived risk relative to Italian bonds. This could be due to domestic economic factors, political uncertainty, or turbulence in international markets. Perception is crucial. The consequence of a high spread is an increase in the cost of debt financing for the government. Higher interest on newly issued bonds means greater burdens for the public coffers. These burdens divert resources from other productive uses. Another vital indicator is the debt to GDP ratio, which measures public debt as a percentage of gross domestic product. This ratio provides an indication of a country's ability to service its debts. It is an internationally comparable metric. A high debt to GDP ratio suggests that the debt burden is significant relative to the wealth produced by the country. This may raise concerns about the ability to sustain the debt in the long term. It indicates the ability to repay Keeping the debt to GDP ratio under control is a priority for many governments. This means the economy must grow at a pace that outpaces the accumulation of new debt. It's a delicate balance that must be maintained. Controlling public debt is essential to ensuring fiscal sustainability. Preventing it from becoming too burdensome is crucial. It's an ongoing commitment that requires responsible and far-sighted economic decisions. The European Union plays a significant role in the fiscal policy of member states. Through specific mechanisms and rules, the EU profoundly influences national budgetary decisions. Fiscal sovereignty is not absolute. The Stability and Growth Pact, or SGP, is the main instrument that establishes these rules. Its objective is to ensure the financial stability of the euro area as a whole. It was designed to prevent excessive deficits and unsustainable debt. The SGP was established to prevent irresponsible fiscal policies by a single country from spilling over into the entire monetary union. It promotes fiscal discipline among Eurozone members. It is a coordination mechanism. The core rules of the SGP require member states to keep their public deficit below 3% of GDP. Furthermore, public debt must be kept below 60% of GDP. These are the so-called Maastricht parameters. These limits were set to ensure that member states adopt prudent fiscal policies. The idea is to create an environment of stability and mutual trust. They are common standards for all member countries. However, the SGP has not remained unchanged over time. It has been reformed following economic crises, such as the sovereign debt crisis, to make it more flexible. Flexibility clauses and a greater focus on growth have been introduced. The EU closely monitors the fiscal situation of member states through the excessive deficit procedure. This surveillance process aims to promptly identify and correct deviations from established parameters. It is a rigorous control. In the event of violations of the rules, the EU can adopt corrective measures, ranging from recommendations to financial sanctions. These measures are designed to incentivize a return to tax compliance. They have a tangible impact. The EU's influence on national fiscal policy is considerable, limiting member states' discretion. Governments must take European constraints into account when formulating their budget laws. It's a balancing act. This European framework promotes convergence towards common financial stability objectives. It ensures that Eurozone economies move in a common direction of fiscal prudence. Harmonization is a shared benefit. European economic governance has evolved, introducing new tools and procedures. The European semester is one of these, coordinating the economic and budgetary policies of member states. It guides national decisions. During the European semester, the European Commission formulates country specific recommendations. These recommendations are taken into account in preparing the national budget. They carry significant political weight. The pandemic crisis led to the temporary suspension of the SGP, demonstrating the system's flexibility in the face of exceptional shocks. This allowed countries to implement extraordinary support policies. It provided a breathing space. The rules are expected to be reactivated with ongoing debate on their reform to make them more relevant to current challenges. A balance is being sought between fiscal discipline and the need for investment. Discussions are ongoing. European governance represents a complex system of rules and procedures aimed at ensuring collective financial stability. It is not just a set of constraints, but also a mechanism for coordination and mutual support. It is an essential architecture. In short, the state budget and public debt are significantly influenced by the European governance framework. Understanding these mechanisms is essential for economic students and informed citizens. They are the foundation of prosperity and stability.